Okay, hello everybody, it's me. Just making sure everything is good here. Yeah, so basically, this is my second take on the game. Trying to record as the last one crashed. Let's just begin the game, and I know it's recording, I checked, so make sure audio is on, Davey reading. Creator of the Stanley Parable, so let's do this. I kind of relate to this game a bit, so let's do this.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made.
Probably.
It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Okay, let's hope it doesn't crash this time, because it crashed last time. This is Escape from Whisper.
Warning. Whisper machine active. Ship destruction imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life forms inbound.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are. rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Funny. It's a labyrinth of human shit.
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it. Or, if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
These games, what they really are. This is where you stop. How you do the labyrinth. Boom, bam, bop.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature.
Okay.
If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Yippee. Yippee, I am dead.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level.
Okay.
But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Hold on a second, take me close. Why am I looking down? Okay. Yippee! My gosh, nothing's moving. Oh.
The beam causes you to start floating.
Oh, this is the entire
And this is an
map.
important
That's
moment for him.
not a big
Because
map.
yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small
look
it
up
makes
the
you
sky.
feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place,
Never mind.
juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was
it's either
thinking,
we're
but
moving up
what's clear is that
or the
after
map is
making
moving
this,
down.
something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and
It's like
moves
the
on to a
map's
stream
moving
of
down.
tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
I think this one is The Past Was Behind Her. And in this game...
Yep, in this
you
game you
can
can
only
only
walk
walk
backwards.
backwards.
Looks like I have to go this way.
So it's a
Future
short
cannot be
and
seen.
relatively minimalist experiment combining
future
motion and
keep
narrative.
changing.
It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more
Just stops and
focused,
looks,
more
it becomes
complete.
clearer.
Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
But if the future is always behind her... Oh. How will she find the strength? To confront it.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
I'm gonna revisit anything I missed, Rich. I'm gonna revisit the, Now either it's gonna cut me off after I pass the sign, or like the other one is not gonna cut me off past the sign, okay? It is gonna cut me off past the sign.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
I'm gonna go to the borders of the map here. Nonsense.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do? I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here. Sorry.
Might be nothing over here. What about over here? What the hell? It's kind of creepy. Anyway, way up the stairs, up the stairs, up the stairs, and you think I'm gonna... Nothing happens if you go up the stairs legitimately. I'm telling you right now, nothing happens if you go up the stairs legitimately.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens.
Okay.
So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Once you get in, it's a nice little room full of game ideas. I am
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
What the hell?
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Yeah. That's actually an interesting idea. Aww. January 2009. Ready, set, fish. Oh, that door opens. Okay. Oh. I think it's a nice wooden room. Goes to a concrete. Looks like warehouse, half-like type room. Look, wooden stairs. Ah, a door.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle.
There's a puzzle?
Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Yeah, Okay then.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
What are these 3 dots? Okay, I'm jumping down here from wood to concrete, and now I'm back into wood. Now the door closes.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. All right, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Oh! Oh wow. Oh wow.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same. is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Okay, here's the exiting game.
Aha! So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Okay. The Great and Lovely Descent. This is my favorite one. I don't know why, but just starting off, I think this is his biggest one.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Okay.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly.
Yeah.
One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Oh, there's a door on the side. I never went to the other side before. Inside. I'm gonna wait a few minutes in there. Well, you'll see. This is the other door. Now, if you'll pardon me, I'm gonna try to successfully do this parkour here. I always fail at this. I want to do it for once. Shoot. Come on, man. Bull crap. These stairs don't go like that. That is kind of creepy.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Okay, so but if I don't? There's actually a lot less weapons things in here than available. If I see one of those, 1, 2. 3, okay, nothing happens.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Going down. Okay, outside the prison. There are those 3 dots again. What are those 3 dots? Where's that big building? What's that? Look. You look up there. So you look up in the middle of that, like, little arch. Something that disappears when you get too far. And reappears. Closer. Like the entrance arch, like right here. Something like right there. Like right there. Oh, here's
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
I broke it.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Very shortly, eh? Stop assuming stuff, man. So cool. For craps and giggles, I'm going to it. Great, I can go back now. You there? Did you come from
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Love, you've been there. What is it going? Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? No, I don't remember having to go through any puzzle. No? Puzzle is the only way. I don't remember how I got here. Please. Get out of this prison. You must escape. Can you think harder? There must be something more. Please tell us how to reach the end. Going nearby. Oh. Yeah. Who's these guys? Is there a puzzle you had to pass through? No, I've been right here the entire time. So, who are you? It'll grow on you, eventually. Okay, well, bye. Stop closing that thing in my face. Going down.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Okay.
it's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out.
David.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games
Why did you
with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination.
I don't know.
We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Will it? Fade to black, you sussy. Fuck. This game is connected to the internet. Walk around, you can leave notes. I can. It's usually left by other players. So this game is connected to the internet. Anyway, you can leave notes and then nice room, not improper grammar.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda.
I'm going to read.
This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
Hey,
in retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Do you feel like a hero yet? World full of notes, one man will read all of them this summer.
But it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work.
I'd rather be doing literally anything.
I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
You already read all of these. What the crap is this cavern? Boy. I can assure you guarantee that there is an acorn somewhere here in this place and the sailors are looking for it. My puppy. Hey guys, I was looking for someone to talk with. I refuse to believe. But. Triple butt. I need to go to the frickin' bathroom. I think that's a frickin'. Recognize me, please. There's nothing here, go back. Don't listen to that guy. That's funny. A free t-shirt. Makes games, includes door, cannot open door, thanks. Open sesame. Door how open? Need other side. Door, why you so gay? Someday I will meet the person who made this. I help people because of the eternal good feeling I get. New room. Did you hear the chimes? They keep going. They keep you going, don't they? I would like very much to be desired. Scared of writing something. Don't want to feel judged. It's not very crowded here. Welcome. Congratulations. I don't really know where to go with this. You can go in here, I think. Don't bother. A game where you leave notes and suddenly everyone's a poet. This is where I get... Okay. I failed to write anything here. I am compelled. Stop, turn back. Proceeding further will only result in misery. Take my hand. Let's jump together, okay? Cabot shapes our nation. What is that painting? I don't know. It does not matter if you ever get over there. Very good game. Very good game. Hey, don't talk about me that way. I think this is not going anywhere. Next time I will do better. I need someone to talk to. This is a note? Don't listen to the other notes. I'm just reading the notes. I'm not safe. That's not good. You always need to be safe. Stop faking it. Today I learned you cannot fall off. Oh, really? Ethical. Painting, what does it mean? Painting, what does it mean? Art. Whoever made this has issues. Well done, all of you. Hey guys, how it's going? Just hanging. Help, I'm trying to speak. I think it's about how things look messy from up close and perfect from far away. No, it looked the same. From up here, it just looks like dots. It is dots. Dude, I will literally go all the way over there. Just to prove that it looks like dots from all the way over there. Sorry guys, but I mean like, it's not gonna look like dots from all the way up here. This is proof of message. This is supposed to be a long playthrough. Look, it just looks like dots. Pixely dots, but it looks like dots nonetheless. Now let me go back over there because there's still a few notes I have to read over there. I made time code this video because these are pretty long chapters. I saw a person walking down there. Now it won't come back. Aww. Poor note. Who are all of you? We will all die someday, okay? Cabot, safe sound nation. We will all die someday. Spoilers, it doesn't mean anything. Really? Stop pretending you are other people. It's about how this game is pretentious and you all suck. Your opinion, mate. Devil Tower Star. You don't know what I haven't read. Devil Tower Star. There's 2 Devil Tower Stars. Maybe I'll feel real someday. He was himself the most horrible creature he could imagine. I have a feeling that's a quote from something. Well, I'm here now. Yeah, we're all here now. There must be a reason for it, though. His terrible secret, he kept it well. I beat the game. More room?
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means.
Don't want to feel judged.
Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it.
Need an escape.
And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
I have seen everything. I have traveled the world. I have never told anyone. I wish there were notes in the real world. Become one with the spiral of nonsense. Downward, keep digging.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult,
Coda
Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Does this puzzle have a solution? OMG, I've been here for literally an hour. What WTF do I do? Help. Help. This doesn't make sense. The second door won't open. Shoot, how do you solve it? Developer, answers please?
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces,
I'm heading back to the start.
Before
later,
you move
guys.
on, you get to pause.
There is no second switch.
Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together.
This is gonna get really
to grasp
loud.
at that elusive bigger picture.
Because the clacking is gonna get really loud. Made it. How do you leave notes? Ironic. He left a note. Ah yes, the Sussy Boxer lamppost. That's what I'm naming this specifically, the Sussy Boxer lamppost. Hi there, please say something. You can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. Speak! May to June 2009. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. No stars died.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kinda just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Okay, so it looks like we have a painting that opens. Painting of a generic city skyline. Shelf, a desk thing, a table, cabinet, table, 2 sofas, and a lamp. We're going into the mysterious room. Here we have a nice hallway. I like this wallpaper, and a hallway that seemingly goes nowhere, as I'm alive. We have the same painting of the city, and we are going into another hallway with the same thing. Can't go up it.
See, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Okay, there's nothing in here now. Great. What furniture ought to go in the center of a room? Put a giant hole in the ground. It's not a hole, that's going above ground. Yeah, now what about along the wall of the room? Stand stove lined up along the wall. See if you can burn it. I think we should light up this room a bit. A skylight, full ceiling window. Let's open this baby up. And a table, you need a table. Tables were invented in 1935. Do what the hell?
there's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Oh my lord.
So okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. Okay, this guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. First, click on this table. Good, now go over to the photo frame and click it to turn slightly. There are the 3 dots again. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. So there's off, there's on. Now go to the left side sofa, move it over a little. Finally, touch the cells. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Isn't this a way to escape the prison now? In the prison.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. Okay. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Going outside, but I'm assuming is a tunnel. It's the Sussy Baka lamppost. Back at it again. I guess it's the entrance to the prison or the prison wall. Let's go in here. The Sussy Baka lamppost. Do it again. That's just terrifying noises. Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm after you escaped the prison. You're me? So are you trapped in this prison too?
It's a conversation.
Yep. I was in the escape tutorial.
This is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows.
I'm so glad to know that I get out eventually.
But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far
are completely
Coda
still and lively most
himself.
at the same time. Do you feel any different? Together, get out and things will be exactly the same before. He does change. I don't feel like the same person at all. You think you're really happy. You're just still me. He just kind of does that, you know. Me, when you were trapped. Yes, I did get a call. That's how I escaped. What did they tell you? What do you have to do to get out? They asked me how I felt being in prison. What? That freed you? How does that work? Listen, you can't know until you're out, but I promise it will. Yeah, I feel afraid that nothing will ever change. go on. That's it. It just cuts.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Okay, it's 1-5.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
This one doesn't have a title, so I'm going to call it a house game.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the 2 doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Oh yeah, okay. The door doesn't open until you go inside the house, I know that. Tried it before, it just a bit of dialogue, and that's like exactly what he says. Going inside the house. Clean. Well, my goodness, I'm glad as heck that you showed up. I'm gonna be able to clean this entire house all by myself. And lousy homes makes home loaners.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
While you're in there, why don't you straighten out the work a bit? All the details matter. Details matter. How do you end up doing this job? There can be a line of time I was particularly tempted to cast as I've ever been stretched over for my whole life. Never did I clean my own life. I got some demons I ain't ready to face yet. Just catching all the meds that you are. Come out and straighten out these ghosts. Inside, it seems like somebody's supposed to drink. But as long as you're on there. It's easy personal. Do you absolutely have to? Yes. No, I don't. You're stupid. Never mind. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you do that? Last I checked, the tub needed deep cleaning. How about you scrub that down as best you can? Perfect. We're all just human. All the books are scheduled for the bedroom, so would you should put them back into the shelf? Perfect. Well then, how about you come clear these dishes off the table?
After the intense set of prison games, his house cleaning level almost feels like
cleaning
cleansing.
is so difficult. How do you do
It's the
it?
moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Go with another like so push over. Just move out the rug in the bedroom.
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Take care of it and take care of you. Yeah. I don't know why I felt so good about saying that. Yeah, you're right. That's pretty cheesy. Anyway, so housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books. Would you please clean up the books? Thanks. Oh goodness, those clothes over on the couch.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Question. Do you
But,
enjoy this?
of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Okay, but what if I go to the entrance first? What if this door's open? Which is not. Okay, let's go all the way back up to the top of the hill. You know. Oh, my volume is kind of creepy, you know? Like that horror ambiance. The jump walk is really good in this game. Is that the sussy buckle lamppost? It is.
Which is the whole point of the
door,
puzzle doors, right?
Close on me.
That sooner or later you have to pick up and
The
move.
sussy buckle lamppost.
I really thought that was the point of it.
September of 2009. Items you love
This
at a
one gets a
members-only
bit
prices.
goofy.
Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationship more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. The workshop is going to teach you how to become perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know so well developed as a person they make you feel disgusted with yourself? Compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how we do it, but how do we do it effortlessly. This is easy. It is so easy. It is so easy.
About halfway through the game,
Being
the
perfect
perspective
is
shifts.
effortless. What the fudge? This is the key. How do I achieve
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Right now, it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. Being alone must be awful. Drinking is not hurting my life. If you're trusting yourself trying to find the right solutions to your life, then you're not doing it right. Thank goodness you all wise and intelligent. Here, I'm spelling assist the rules. Seek out the only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest dash forward? Happy until you love me. This is for you. There is no truth, there is no past. Haha, just kidding. Holy crap, guys. Look out. Nothing more. Everyone one.
I felt pretty hard for this one.
Perfection.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human.
The black hole in the
I think about this game a lot these days.
January 2010. I think this is the... I have a feeling of like, no, this is not. This is... Okay, so we just have an
This one
empty
took a
room.
lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Like, I guess, instrument. Can we leave? 9, okay. Stage again. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Can I can't go up this ladder, can I? No. I have to go look at that. Something. Can't go up these ladders. Okay, I'm gonna go into the main area. Kinda gets you. Alright, the performance is beginning. Places. In this scene, you're playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you start out leaning against this wall. Good, stay right there. The room across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. Dream to photograph animals professionally. That's to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Hello. Hello, that's it. It's not a conversation. Yeah, convince us to be a human being. Do it again. Here are all of my hopes and dreams. No, 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 that's not what I said at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved. I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's you need a picture feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. Some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Now talk to her again. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. As you get up again, you figure out how to adapt to the face and get personal that quickly. Do you not realize how important this was for me? I'll never get enough of an opportunity like this again. I think I was riding on this. I want to try something. Ah, yes. It's the sussy Baka lamppost yet again. Can I just go down this hallway? God darn it, what was that? I knew that lamppost was the sussy Baka. Okay, yes, now this is
The game
working.
ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Mobius tutorial. This game quality, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. What's going on? What's going on? Please don't let this be forever. The only way to stop it is say something else. I can't keep making these. To tell the truth. I'm out of ideas.
I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work
about
about exactly what he's
lamppost.
thinking. So where's that come from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
December 2010. What is this? Oh, God. Where did this island come from? Okay, then. Not a person, how lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. I'm completely out of ideas. Oh no! What happened? Did something change? I'm trying. There was a machine that kept me going, and it stopped. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. What? I can take you
If
to
the
it, but
last
there's a
game
problem.
featured Coda talking explicitly
Started by
about
a
his
difficult
creative
puzzle.
frustrations,
Can you help me
this one
find
turns
the
it up to
machine?
11. Now, put yourself in
No
my
matter what I
shoes,
say,
players.
does it?
Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle,
Deal.
frustration,
Perfect.
anxiety, depression, even.
Come along.
And
I'll
yet
show it to
still,
you.
he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore.
Here's the puzzle.
Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective
Hey,
at the time,
I
and
recognize
just
this.
what I knew of him,
Oh, wonderful.
this was a result of how isolated he was. He
How to
was
do it?
in his own little bubble, just
First,
sitting
you
at
have
his
to open
computer
the
all day,
door.
not really showing these games to anyone,
Okay, now
not
what?
releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't
Now
have
you have to
anyone
close the
outside
door.
of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Alright, we're back outside. You have to press the switch on the inside. We're still on the outside. You have to open the door. Now what? You have to close the door. Okay. Have to close the door. Oh no. Have to open the door. You have to close the door. Next. Now just press the switch here. Ah, that was so simple.
You can't
believe I
talk
never
yourself
solved it
out
before
of
this.
loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of
Okay,
your
here we are.
anxieties are being channeled into your work,
There's
then if
no
the work ever
machine
fails,
here.
you have no backup and you're just going to
Trust
crash.
me, you'll see. Say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say the game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time. Alright, making games is effortless. That feels wonderful. Ooh, why did it feel so awful when I said that? Tell me about it. Just keep talking. It is easy. When I make more games, you feel completely energized. Yes, that's wonderful. Keep going.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me.
Such a simple
I was
solution.
watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped.
Feels fantastic.
Video games are not worth
I'm
this
gonna
amount of
vomit.
suffering. This is someone I really cared
You
about.
have to trust
And I
me.
used to get so
promise
much
it will
joy
work.
out of seeing him
Please
create.
continue.
For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this
Any
was the worst
sacrifice.
thing for me.
Come on, work over it 100% of the time. Yes, more.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how
I will
else to
be
explain.
saved by my work.
I wanted it to
Incredible.
stop more
It's
than
a sussy
anything.
buckle
It never
lamppost.
felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
May 2011. The machine. Ma'am, glad to see you arrived safely. We captured the machine and it's waiting for you now. We can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be quiet. Very good. This will be on to someone called the press, so you might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing you should know. tell one more thing you should know about the machine that calls itself a Coda. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Stop, stop, stop. Please give us answers. I'm not giving you any answers. 9. No. Niet. So. You'll stop.
And of course, it's the machine.
Dr. Code. You stopped feeding us. Those people out there, can you imagine what pains you put them through? You have to admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer. Think carefully, I know how to hurt you, Dr. Coda. Alright then, I will speak to them for you. My Freunds! My Freundens! Meine Freundens! I have a troubling revelation. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hit us. But it is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. Let us show it that we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy the machine. What do I do with this? I used up all the ammo, so I won't shoot it.
Remember, you can click to fire the gun.
Oh, okay. I guess I have infinite ammo now or something.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it.
Yeah.
Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for it? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work? So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
The sussy baka lamppost is back. I know this is supposed to be a serious game, so I relate to this game, and this is just put down my weapon. 9.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like Like, I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Okay.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Alright. June of 2011. It was only a month maybe after the other one. And this is the biggest one he's made other than that one prison game. The Tower. Oh, like in this nice room here. Go into a concrete
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, The Tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Oh, scheiße.
This room actually has a maze in it.
Oh, God.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Oh, danke, kind sir, because I'm not gonna be able to figure out this maze. That's a remixed noise of the skull crying.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on. The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress.
Okay.
And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
I'm gonna come back. Can
Was
I
I-
save the game?
Am I a failure for not understanding
I'm
this
gonna
game?
come back to this level, see if I can
I don't know
lock
why I would
myself
be.
in
It's
the
not like
room.
everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011, I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person.
Bingo!
I have no idea who this person is.
That was Coda's point.
It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
Yeah, exactly. What the
And he
frick are the
wouldn't.
3 dots?
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Well, looks like we're about to find out, buddy. Dear Davy, thank you for your interest in my games.
I'm the reason that you stopped making
I need
games,
to ask you
aren't
not
I?
to speak to me anymore.
It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
I wonder at times
I don't think I
whether
ever
you
told you
think
this,
I am making these games
But when I
for
took
you.
your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... It felt as though I were responsible for something
my
important
space
and
that
valuable.
it's possible I did begin to plant solutions in my work
the
somewhere,
people who played
hidden
them,
between games.
they treated me like I was important.
It was an
They really
answer, a
listened
meaning.
and
Would it
cared
make
about
you
what
any
I
happier?
had to say.
Stop taking my
Even though I
games
was
and showing
showing
them
your
to
work,
people
it was...
against my wishes.
I felt
Giving them
good about
something that is-
myself.
give them
Finally. For a
violating
moment,
the one
while I
boundary
had that,
keeps me
I
safe.
liked myself.
Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them. I knew they were sussy baka lampposts. Oh, the tower has a nice glass dome. A few nice glass domes. Would you
And then you
simply be
stopped,
what they are?
And I didn't have anything left to show people.
Around you, I feel physically
I just
ill.
had to be
Desperately
with
need
myself.
something and I cannot give it
And
to
as
you.
soon as
I
that
literally
happened,
do not have it.
There was no
When
feeling
you
at
come
all.
up with new ideas and not making me
Nothing.
depressed. Low points are
Less
just a
than
part of the
nothing.
process.
What
You
does
think
that
I am
mean?
frustrated or broken says more about you than it does about me. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and you make peace with this thing you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I am talking about, don't say anything. Now I'm stuck in this room.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work. Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please. I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Poor Davy. Epilogue. What are we, like Grand Central Station or something?
More.
IV
More
is
love,
for
more
not
praise, more
I.
people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Oh. Nice little subway. No subs though. I'm kinda hungry.
Solution.
Oh my lord, this is a nice house. Big too.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Maybe. But I have yet to meet a man that can outsmart bullets.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
I should do this. What the hell?
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Yeah, that's the last part of dialogue in this game. Who designed this last game? Nobody knows. In my opinion, this game is truly a masterpiece and a work of art. It's about a guy slowly. He met a guy who was kind of overly ambitious. It's going to slowly beating somebody and then taking their work and claiming it as theirs, ruining their friendship over it. The Sussy Baka lamppost was added by him. He modified these games so freaking much that it was basically copyright infringement. Here we are back in Grand Central Station, except that there's nothing related to this. I did a few of those things. I'm not gonna get into it, but it's kind of sad. I was friends with the man for years, and I guess it was kind of both of us doing stupid things on each end, but it just fell apart a few weeks ago. So yeah. Where's the music? There's a band. There's a whisper missing. Escape from whisper. I'm gonna go to the one after escape from whisper. Need to see if I can soft lock myself in the tower and see if there's anywhere else I can go in the back of the game. Okay, here we go. Floating again. The glitch. Just a huge labyrinth. That is loud. Holy crap. Boy, that's the end of the loud noises.
Turn back.
For
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes
turn back.
and miles and miles, and you're so tired.
I'm not gonna be able to read all.
But I know that you're strong. So turn back. Turn back.
And that's it. That's the game. So first of all, let's go back to backwards.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't think you can go anywhere. Yeah, okay.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced
Okay.
than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique...
Epilogue Tower. I'm gonna see if we can soft lock our way into the tower. Oh, you gotta go in.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world.
Okay.
It's a very cold game.
Yeah, I can see that. Kind of feels like a communist utopia. I don't know why. I played Beholder recently and it just looks like a Beholder game.
This room actually has a maze in it.
Yeah.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable.
Nice.
The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Just gonna do that.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
1, 5.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here.
Alright, here we are.
I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on. The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
Dang, you can't stop by
Was I a
yourself.
failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why.
Okay,
I remember.
You can't fall off.
It's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very...
That was the beginner's guide. Not a short game. This is an hour and a half recording. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. I'm not gonna. Well, actually, it's only 2:19, but yeah, not gonna. Whatchamacallit tonight? Like upload it, do all my stuff tonight. I'm gonna save that for tomorrow, and just like, subscribe, and hit the bell, and check community posts, updates, yeah, all that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.